Gautama was a prince of a small princely state. When he was born, some yogi predicted that he will either become a great emperor or a great sage. When he made this prediction, Gautama's father got a little excited. He did not want him to become a great sage. He wanted him to become a great emperor. He thought that by being exposed to some suffering or misery, he may turn into a sage. So he kept him in utter pleasure, the best of food, clothes, and pleasures. When he was 19 years of age, his father got him married to a very pretty young woman, kept him in a palace which was secluded from the rest of the society, where he lived in pleasure and was never exposed to any kind of suffering. One day, Gautama thought that he will just take a drive through the town, so he asked his charioteer to take him across. As he was going, he saw a man who was old. He had never seen an old man in his life. His father had protected him from all this. He said, "What happened to him?" The charioteer said, "Oh, he is just an old man." "How does it happen?" he asked. He said, "Everyone gets old someday." He looked at himself. He was a nice youth. "What, me also?" He said, "Yes, everyone gets old. If they live long enough, they get old." This was a realization for him that I will become like this. Then he saw a man lying on the street who was ill with something, not able to get up and in great suffering. He said, "Stop. What is this guy? What's he doing?" He said, "Oh, he is sick, unfortunately." "What does that mean?" He said, "The body, sometimes it gets sick. It can happen to just anyone. Me, a prince? It can happen to me? It can happen to anyone." Then he saw, "Oh, I can become like this." He was completely disturbed by this. Then they went further, and he saw a funeral. They were carrying the dead body of a man. "What happened to that guy?" "Oh, he just died, that's all." "What does that mean?" "That happens to everyone without exception." Then he said, "What am I doing? Just eating, pleasures, and nonsense. What am I doing with myself?" He went into turmoil within himself. Suddenly, being a prince and the pleasures of this palace broke apart for him. He started looking, what is the point of all this? This body is going to get old. This may get sick, and this will be dead for sure. Why am I investing my entire life in this? But by then he had an infant boy. He could not leave this loving wife and this lovely little baby. He struggled and struggled. By then, a little over 1¼ year had passed. When the little boy was 1½ years of age, he could not hold it anymore. In the middle of the night, without telling anyone, he slipped out of the palace like a thief and left for good. He went in search. I want to know the truth about this life. Samanas used to just walk, never asking for food. But the culture was sensitive. If they saw a spiritual person walking, people would cook at home and run behind him and serve him wherever he was because they knew that he will not ask for food. Gautama became a samanu. Even if you are not asking for food, you may walk near a town so that food will come. But Gautama took it too seriously and just walked. He became just bones and a bag of skin. Then he came to a place where there was a river called Niranjana. It was just about 18 to 20 inches of water, and he stepped into it. Halfway down into the river, he did not have the energy to cross. There was a dead branch, and he just held on to it. He did not have the strength to take the next step, but he is not the kind of man to let go. He held on. We do not know for how long. Maybe it was 2 minutes. When you were feeling so weak, those 2 minutes might have looked like many years. Then, as he hung on, he just realized, what is it that I am striving for? What is it I am wandering the entire country for? Going from school to school, learning this, learning that. What is it that I am looking for? Then he realized, there is really nothing. This life is on. All I have to do is just take away the barriers which are not allowing me to experience this. When he realized that everything is within him and there is nowhere to search, he suddenly had the energy to take the next step and the next step. He crossed the river and sat down under that now very famous Bodhi tree. It was a full moon night. He sat there with this determination. Either I must see the ultimate nature of my existence now, or I will sit here and die. I will not open my eyes till I know this. Once he made that resolve, to know what is within you can happen in a moment. When he saw that you do not have to do anything in particular for realization, he was fully enlightened, and the moon was shining. Gautama, now called the Buddha, stood up from under the Bodhi tree. He felt very wise and caring. His journey to understand himself had finished, but he wanted to help others find the same understanding. So, under the bright moon, the Buddha started his important mission to help many people find enlightenment. And that's how Gautama became a Buddha,